Located at the confluence of the St. Lawrence River and the Ottawa River in the province of Quebec in Canada, Montreal was discovered by Jacques Cartier, a French explorer, in 1535, but it really became a city thanks to the Cardinal Richelieu in 1642. Growing up, Montreal became a significant center of fur trade. The French settlers mostly got the fur from the Native Americans. That's why it has been targeted by a lot of Iroquois attacks. On August 4th, 1701, to end those attacks, the governor of New France, Louis-Hector de Caillères, signed a peace treaty called the Great Peace of Montreal with representatives of 40 Native American nations. However, the Native American threat was replaced by the British threat. Montreal resisted until September the 8th, when the Duc de Lévis, a French governor, surrendered to the British army. At the dawn of the 19th century, Montreal is experiencing a strong economic growth. Expanding, the city had to remove its fortifications. Until 1835, the Montrealers were mostly Francophone people, but it changed because of a constant influx of migrants from British islands. Nowadays, the separation between French and English people still exists. The French live in the east, while the English are in the west. Montreal's flag was created in 1939. In the back, there is a St. James Cross, which represents the Christian religion. There are also symbols standing for the 4 founding fathers of the city, a blue fleur-de-lis of the Royal House of Bourbon, representing the French, a red rose of Lancaster, representing England, a shamrock, representing Ireland, and a thistle, representing Scotland. Last February, the current mayor of Montreal, Denis Coderre, decided to add a white pine in the center of the flag to represent the ancestral presence of indigenous people.
In the 60s, Toronto became the most powerful city in Canada because of the influence of the United States and the political insecurity linked to the Quebec nationalism. In 1967, Montreal organized a World's Exhibition during the celebrations of the 325th anniversary of the city to reinforce its international status. Over the years, the rivalry between Montreal and Toronto became stronger, and it culminates after the election of the Quebec Party in Quebec in 1976. The same year, Montreal welcomed the Summer Olympics. The 1st January 2002, all of the municipalities located on the Montreal Island, as well as some outlying islands which compose the urban community of Montreal, were merged to form the new city of Montreal. 27 outskirts were integrated to the ancient city and were transformed as boroughs, even if some of them, mostly English-speaker outskirts, disagreed. After the election of the gouvernement liberal at Quebec, a referendum about the municipal demerges was done the 20 June 2004. On 22 all municipalities which were merged in 2002 and which claimed a referendum, 15 decided to cancel the merging. These municipalities then became autonomous, even though they don't have the same rights as before. Today, Montreal is a city counting 4 million inhabitants and one of the most influential Canadian cities.
Montreal is a big city of Northern America, and there is no big city without history. This history, people did it. As we know, Montreal is a city divided in 2 parts, between French people and English people, and that is the same in its history. Those people were English, and on the contrary, some of them were French, and meant the Montreal each story. This is the same for the monuments. Close to every Englishman's statue there is a French man's statue. The government participates to 1% of every project of art construction. In Montreal, in a building, the most expensive are the angles. Thereby, our architect decided to build a skyscraper shaped as a cross. In this way, there are 2 times more angles and 2 times more money to make. Another example of Montreal monuments is the Notre Dame Basilica of Montreal, which is a religious symbol built between 1824 and 1829. by the architect James O'Donnell, who is American-Irish. He did buildings in New York City and in Montreal, and he is famous obviously because he made the plan of the basilica. 9 sacred hills, and the highest one is 234 meters. Just as Sacred Hill, there is no building higher than 234 meters, and the two highest buildings are 234 meters, and the others are under 234 meters.
Of course, it's impossible to speak about Montreal without thinking about the pedestrian network underground, even if it's not completely underground, commonly called the Réseau since 2004. Born in 1962 with the connection between Ville-Marie Square recently created, the Central train station and the Queen Elizabeth Hotel with the aim to fill a hole in the city. Today, the Réseau is the largest covered galleries network in the world. Used daily by 500,000 persons, it links 63 buildings, each responsible of the connection, 8 underground metro stations, and 5 train stations. It measures 32 kilometers long and covers currently more than 10% of all the center's shops. Moreover, the Réseau is often used as an art gallery. Indeed, artists can explore their creations in the corridors or in little spaces provided to this effect. To walk into the Réseau was for us a nice discovery due to the reputation of this network underground. It's incredible to be able to spend one day inside without seeing the daylight, but this is very useful during winter.
Montreal is a sportive city. In fact, there are lots of sports to practice there. In summer, this is more outside sports like biking or running in the parks of the city. On the contrary, in winter, the mountains become mountains and we can see lots of people skiing, snowboarding, and the Royal Mount, for example. This park is located in the center of Montreal. With 234 meters high, it is the activity center of the town, designed in the late 1800s. As Montreal is a cold city in winter, the lakes turn to rings like the known Beaver Lake located just to the Royal Mount. More than this, Montreal is an attractive place for the hockey fans. In 1996, the Bell Center, linked to the Lucien Lallier commuter rail terminal, opened and now is the third highest sport building the most used in all Canada. Inside, you can see a lot of hockey, but also basketball and other shows like Disney on Ice shows. Universities, 7 superior institutions, and 12 colleges. From the QS Best Student Cities classmate, Montreal is the best city to study in the world. With more than 185,000 students, Montreal is the second city of North America which has the most students. Furthermore, Montreal is attractive not only because of the diversity it shares, but also due to the quality of life. Everything is done for students. A big city center that never sleeps, lots of shops and fast foods, or festivals like the International Jazz Festival, the Francofolies in summer, or the Light Festival in winter.